Alright, so I want to show you how I make my PCBs. So this is the mesh for one of the PCBs I make. Look at it, the screen for it, and then this is the copper cloud board. Look at it. So you get. People ask me what's the benefit of using this method instead of the other paper method. That one that you have to use heat to transfer it. Let me show you something. Look at this copper cloud board. If I use electric iron to heat it, you might have noticed that it will start swelling up in this thing and it start giving you dents. That's number one. Number two, you cannot do many this thing, many PCBs at a time. It will take you so much time before you can complete a PCB. Then you have to do one PCB, make sure it's fine. Then like you have to iron. But within 5 minutes, let's say you use 5 minutes to iron one PCB. Within 5 minutes, I can create 10 PCBs using this method because I'll just swipe, remove it, swipe, remove it, swipe, remove it, swipe, remove it. So I'll do that so you see. I'll make 3 PCBs so you see how fast it takes. So see, I've marked it 1, 2, 3, 4. So this part is for another part. This is a PCB, this is a PCB, this is a PCB, this is another PCB, so on. But this is the same PCB that I want to make. Check it. So this is what me I use. Have you seen it? The reason is that this thing is a system like this. The benefit of any system at all, the benefit of any system, whether this kind of system or another system, is to make sure that there's a repeatability of stuff. You get me? So you can be able to repeat something over and over and over and over again. So if you get the system right, that means that you will stress less on repeating it, on doing the same thing. So let's say I put this board under here like this. If I put it, I put it in here and I move it. I move it, I put the next one. You get it? So what I'm doing is I'm going to mark out this place. So this is what I'm talking about. So if I place this, I measure it, I place it. I just move it down to move. I remove it. I do the next one. Do this. Remove this. Bring next one. Do this. Remove it. We didn't even double many boards. So let's get that. So one of the things you have to do is that you have to cover these edges. Can you see these edges? You have to cover it. Anything that is not what you want to imprint, you have to cover it. You use this. Can see it. I'll put on my not so pretty gloves so that I will not stain my hand. Then I'll bring out this. This is the ink. This is called the retarder. It's as clear as water, but it's not water. So I'll see how thick the ink is. Then I'll make it light, a bit light, so that I can be able to pass that properly. Also, I'll need this foam. I'll keep the foam aside because of when I'm done, I'll have to clean it and dry it. Then I'll get the squeegee. I'll use for it. Then here you go with the squeegee. This is one I used to do. I've seen it. So let me thin out this ink so we can start our work as quick as possible. So I'll put a bit of retarder, just a little retarder, into this place here. So the goal is to make it as thin as possible. Not too thin, because if it's too thin, it will just be flowing anyhow. So it has to be like reasonably thin. So I have to test it on a place. So this is the former one. This was one for a for a different circuit. So I'll just do just simple. I'll just this is a calculation. I'll just test it. So I'll test it on this one. Test it on this place. Before I test it, I told you that you have to use a system if you want things to be repeatable without stress. You have to use a system. So what I will do is I will measure the exact point that this place will be. So when I put it here, when I put this board here, I look at the exact point where it gets to where I want it to be. Then at that exact point, I will mark it here. I use something to mark it, so I'll use this to mark it. So that if I remove this board now, I'm putting another board. I'll just place it on this line. Like this. So let me show you the line I marked. So look at the line. This line, and then this line. So any board I'm placing now, placing it on this point here. I seen it. If I remove it, I'll just place the next board here too. Get it. So that's basically that's actually basically it. So now I want to do testing. So this is it. You see it, but there's an issue. The ink is too light, so it's pouring. So what I'll do is now is this is what I'm saying, that this thing came out, but you see that it poured at this point. You get it? It poured at this point. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cover it from the back so that the ink does not splash, because the ink is looking too thin. You get it? I'll use the tada to clean it properly. So it's this clean again. So I'll do a test. I'll do a final test on it. Seems like this under it is having an issue. So let me look at this one. This one looks a bit clean. So now what we are going to use. You see it? So basically, I'm actually done with making 4 PCBs, as you can see. So I'll pack up all my ink back into my container. I'll cover my container back. I'll cover it. Mine is actually dirty, but I'll cover it and drop it back. Then now the major thing I have to do is now I have to clean this squeegee and clean the mesh itself. So yeah, what you say by this. Then I'll remove the mesh. So this is the mesh. Look at it. You can see that I can see through it. So it's clean. Then I'll drop it back. We did that mesh. Oh man, this thing. Now the other thing I have to do is I have to do correction. That correction means I have to check the PCB parts, which of them are crossing and everything from it. So let's go for etching. So this is the container I use for etching. Get this is what I want to etch. I've already put my etching chemical inside of it, the etchant. I've dissolved inside water. So that's why the color is like this. Let me go to light so you see it. Look at it. So I'll put my PCB inside and then I'll gently be moving it. I'm shaking it till it is actually ready. So these are the boards. I will remove this thing, remove this coating, clean it, then cover it with what's the name of this thing? Flux. So there you go. I've done that. I just drill it, place component and everything like that. That's the final stuff that's remaining. I'll check for what's the name, any part that's breached. But if you don't want this thing, you can just get the PCB from any of these PCB companies.